Hi, Emily. Thank you for being here today. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. So lovely to be here.
It's awesome. So tell the audience. I know you have the website, Energy with Emily. It's amazing and beautiful. I love what you're doing. A Qigong expert. Did I pronounce that correctly? Qigong.
So no, close, but it's cheese. So it's like you're saying cheese and then qigong. Yeah,
Qigong. Okay. Thank you for
yeah.
now I'm gonna say it correct from now on. So Qigong expert and yoga. And so tell us a little bit about you and how did it all begin where you got into this amazing energy healing stuff?
Yeah, so I moved to London in 2018 and I like had a great life. I was a very, have always been a very happy person, like pretty joyful, whatever, but I definitely dealt with my fair share of mental health and physical health issues. In college, I struggled with an eating disorder and it was very like kept under wraps, but I think it was very obvious. Like everybody knew, but it was like to me, I thought it was being kept under wraps, if that makes sense. And so that obviously stemmed from like some, deep insecurity issues, stuff like that. So I moved to London, I think subconsciously because I knew that I needed like a fresh start, not from the people that I was with, but from myself, really. I needed to like release that old identity. And I feel like I just came to London because my mom is British. So I knew I could get a dual citizenship and I just like kind of took off to London, like didn't really think about it. But then when I moved here, I still was struggling with that and other issues just with like overindulging in terms of like alcohol and like drugs, just whatever, all that stuff. I was going a little too off the deep end, excited to be in a new place. And those things, the way I was treating my body, again, stemming from, I guess, that insecurity, me not really knowing who I was or not being connected with myself at all, asthma and vertigo and panic attack. So at the end or middle of 2019, they were like building because I still wasn't taking care of my body in college. I was in Greek life, sorority. It's a really toxic culture. I had fun and I love my friends there, but it was quite toxic in the way that we, were just partying all the time. Like it was really, really just too much. So yeah, it built up and eventually led to asthma, vertigo, panic attacks. And then I was having those three lovely experiences all tied into a little bow. And I was experiencing them all at the same time. And it was really scary. Like I thought I was going to, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't balance. I couldn't walk. Like it was really terrible. Bad time. So that led me to have a meeting with my aunt, who's a Chinese medicine practitioner,
Mm.
because I was trying literally all the remedies under the sun in Western medicine, right? So I was on an inhaler, didn't work. I was on panic attack medication or like anxiety meds. It made it worse. And I was just nothing was working. Like I felt like I was at a dead end. So I met with her and she introduced Qigong to me. And then I started Qigong. And then I started to practice yoga and that was in COVID too. So I was getting really, really deep into my practice because I mean, I was inside all day. I had nothing else to do, but also because I was like, if I get COVID, it will be bad because I have really bad asthma. So it would just be like, not a good story, especially for my lungs. So I just practiced like all of COVID and started to become just super passionate about it. I was already very passionate about like spirituality in the way that I love to read like Eckhart Tolle and Ram Dass and like all the spiritual teachers. But when I really started to like meditate every day and do my yoga and Qigong every day, that's what really sparked the passion. And now I teach it to others because it healed me. So it
That's
literally healed all of that, which is crazy.
that's so
Um,
amazing. I love the stories where it's truly you were in this dark place, you were physically ill, all of that, and then you turn around and just it was literally the you know, it started you on this path that now you're healing others, you healed yourself. Like it took all that, that seemed like the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's like something
mhm.
always positive comes from. So that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like, this is such a positive thing to come out of all of that. But I had a similar
Mhm.
story where I was young. And when I was young, I abused my body and got involved with, I had a lot of challenges that happened from it. And drugs and alcohol and mostly drugs, and then, got in trouble with the law. I've just overcome a lot of trauma too. So we have that in common. And then we're both Aries, which we found out just before the
Yeah.
interview. That's so funny. But so this is just so amazing. So your aunt introduced you to Qigong and helped you along the way. And then COVID was the blessing was you were like, you had nothing. You were able to just focus and just yeah, the yoga and everything. So, what did you do before you got into this? What was your profession? Because this is your exclusive thing, right? Is this your main?
Yeah, this is now my main thing, but actually what I did before and what I studied in school has been such a help for me along with it because I studied, yeah, PR, but like the umbrella is marketing, right? So advertising and PR are like basically just under marketing. So marketing in general has helped me now so much because I'm on TikTok and social media, and it's helped me like just know how to work those platforms really easily and also how to connect with brands and like send emails, as like from my PR work and write press releases. And I love to write as well. So that's really tied nicely into like building my business. But yeah, before this, yeah, I studied marketing in school. Never felt I loved the writing part, but I never like felt that I was very excited about it. Even in school, I was honestly a bad student.
Mm.
Like I because I feel like I'm very much a person and I'm working on this and I'm getting better at it because I know that sometimes we have to do things we don't really like, or not, you can't be fun all the time. But I think a lot of my life, it was like I wanted to find the passion, but I wasn't finding it. And so I would feel very like not like just
Yeah.
not motivated to work in school. I was more of like just I like to socialize and whatever. And I write again. I like to write and read. I was great in English, but math, science, etc. Even just like really studying, I just was never very committed in school, which I do regret, but it's okay. We live and we learn. But yeah, so I think now it's like really, I love teaching and I love creating in this more like fluid way that's not so like intense. And I'm a freelancer now, so I can work for myself, and I've never worked well under people. That's just never gone well for me. So it's really nice that the world is changing in that way where it's like, of course, if you do prefer to work under somebody, that's amazing. But like if there are more people like me who want to do more freelance and have more flexibility, I think it's really nice that like that's definitely a perk of social media and the internet now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, more and more people want time freedom and time freedom is just a huge thing. And my son himself was an engineer. He got his degree and he was like, this is it. This is, punching a clock, or, he was salary or whatever, but 8 to 5, 5 days a week. And he was like, no, this is not what I'm doing. He'd rather have less money and, go to the ocean and have his free time. And he's an entrepreneur as well.
Wow.
He's building things right now, creating and music and different things. So I'm super excited to see what happens for him. But so your website is Energy with Emily, and you have so much there, like videos, and tell us how you mostly like how do you you do one-on-one, and what else? Like, I just noticed you had a ton of videos, so you can sign up to have access to all of it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so it's been a process with the website just because building a website is actually quite it's a commitment. You need to keep up with it, and with like technology and technical difficulties, it can get really like kind of hairy, but in general, yeah, it's a really good platform in the sense that I can just like film the videos on my own time. I upload them, and I have Qigong, meditation, and yoga on there. And you can just, yeah, it's £10 a month. So you just basically go on there and you get access to all the videos. But what I'm building now on top of that is I want to start doing like live classes, maybe like 2 to 3 times a week from Zoom. But for the people that are like in the subscription, they would get access to those lives. And as well, I just want to like keep building more of my, I guess you could call it a style. I'm trying to figure out like the name for the style, or like my company's Energy with Emily, but the style I use is when I teach in class to like in the classes in London, it starts with yoga to open up the body to create space, right? And then qigong, qi means energy and gong means work. So qigong means energy work. So after you've done that yoga to like prime your body, then I use qigong to kind of like flow and allow the chi, like it's just circulating the chi more, and working with your energy, kind of like Reiki, but it's like self Reiki. And then the end is like meditation, which is like full alignment. So it's like those 3 steps is how I teach usually. So I want to get that across more in like my videos to kind of make it a specific style, because that's what I used to like literally the order I would do every single day when I was healing in COVID. I would do yoga in the morning, then qigong, then meditation, and then I really think it's effective. So yeah, that's definitely what I want to add to my website. But
I wanted to ask you the difference between Reiki. That was one question that came to mind. And the other one is going to be your personal spiritual practice and morning practice and meditation practice. I would love to have you share with us what you personally do to support yourself daily. Like, do you have a routine in the morning? Like, I have a routine. And also, how long do you meditate? And is it guided? And those kinds of questions.
yeah, well, for the Reiki question, so since Qigong means literally energy work, it is basically the same thing, right? So, but Reiki is obviously a practitioner is doing it on you. And then Qigong is still working with that. It's the same energy, it's the same thing that you're working with, but it's just you doing it for yourself. And it's more your own mindful movement circulating the energy rather than somebody else doing it to you. And I think that Reiki has, I do want to study it one day, honestly, but it has the symbols and the different. I don't know where Reiki originated. I have no idea, but I know obviously Qigong originated from China. So obviously, yoga, Qigong, Reiki, all of them are very, very similar, like alternative medicine, different holistic approaches. But some stem from India, some started in China, and they all have a bit of a different base. So I don't know enough about Reiki to actually say, but I know that they are very, very similar. I watch before bed, I watch the ASMR Reiki videos. It's like autosensory motor response. And they have these videos on YouTube, and somebody's doing Reiki through the screen. And it feels amazing. It's crazy because you can really feel it. Like I can feel it through the screen, and it puts me to sleep right away. So that's great.
That's incredible.
Um,
Wait, what is it? Because I need help with sleep sometimes. What is it?
So I watched it on my phone. I know you're not supposed to do phone before bed, but
Right.
I just put my bright all the way down, and it's called ASMR, and then you
Okay.
look up like ASMR Reiki. So
Okay.
they basically just do it through the screen,
Oh,
but they use
awesome.
like hand movements and different sound like layers weird sounds and stuff. And it's really, really, really relaxing.
That's
Um,
incredible. I just want to share one thing while you were sharing all of that is that I had someone on my episode recently named Katie who basically healed herself through meditation and detox and holistic ways because she was on medications for years, antibiotics, and then she went to antidepressants, which made her actually she was on antidepressants. That's when she was at her worst, meaning she was suicidal from the antidepressants. Anyway, she completely healed, and she reminds me of you. She's a little older than you, but she healed herself by watching. It started with the Heal documentary. I don't know if you're familiar. I think it's called the
yeah,
Heal documentary.
I watched it a really long time ago. I don't
Yeah, and
remember.
that kind of just, sparked a thing, and she ended up through nutrition and meditation, she healed her mind, her body, and detoxing the body. But I just had to mention it because you just reminded me when you were talking so much about how you healed yourself. And I just love all this natural way. I just love how our bodies can heal and how that's what they're meant to do. And I love the Qigong idea versus Reiki too, because it's like we are powerful beings, right? We're spiritual beings and we have the ability to do it. So to heal, and meditation is incredible. So tell us about your personal meditation practice. Do you wake up every morning and do anything
Yeah.
specific?
So it's taken me a while to get like my morning routine that I do every morning because I feel like I wake up and want to do it a different way, a lot of the time. As an Aries, I'm
Mm.
also quite like impulsive and decisive. So, it happens with my, I guess, fire energy. But in general, I usually wake up and start again with that thing, like the order. So I'll do like a yoga stretch, then I'll do some qigong and then some meditation. And I tell people that and they're like, do you wake up at 3 and do that for like 5 hours? And I do each for 10 to 20 minutes. Like I keep it short because I want to get all three in. So honestly, like if I'm teaching or like working in the day, I'll just do each for 10 minutes. And then meditation more too. It's like I just love to meditate. So I feel like I do it before bed. I do it in the morning. I do it little snippets throughout the day. That's my like go to when I really need to de-stress or calm my mind down all of a sudden. And my body, since I did have the panic attacks and all that, and I struggle with anxiety, meditation has been my savior with just like deep breathing, reconnecting, and rid of the anxiety within it. You only need a 5-minute meditation too. Like that's what I tell people. You only need 5 minutes of yoga, 5 minutes of qigong, 5 minutes of meditation. That's really it. Like it doesn't need to be a long and drawn out practice. You just need to be consistent with it. But yeah, I do that in the morning and then I like journal and then I do a walk every morning and like listen to a podcast. And I've been introducing something new too, which has been interesting. I have been doing like hot and cold showers. So I'll go into the shower and I like to take a shower in the morning anyway because it kind of just makes me feel like fresh. So yeah, so I do the hot and then at the end I'll do 30 seconds of cold shower, like freezing. And it works wonders. Like my energy levels after the cold shower are crazy. Like it just wakes me right up, but it's not pleasant. It's not
Yeah. My
fun.
son used to
But
do cold showers. My son talked
yeah,
to me about I don't know if he's doing them again, but he told me how powerful they are. And
yeah.
yeah, that's so interesting. So do you have any book or mentor that really had an impact on you in your life and transition from the toxic way of living and being to this healthy, beautiful? Oh, and I need to know about your diet. I want to hear about what you
Yeah.
put in your body too.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess the spiritual teacher is basically that. I think I'll say the spiritual books because the books are really what catapulted my journey just because I talk about this like in some other podcasts I did, but the books have been my little like breadcrumb trail to on my spiritual journey. So the first book I found was The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And that was like what started everything. And that was that was in college. I think I found it when I was in like New York City visiting a friend in like the summer before senior year. But I found that, and then it just like started to go. But it's this weird journey where it's like, I don't actively search for the next book. It'll just like pop up on my social media, or a friend will talk about it, or like I'll see it in a window and it will really capture my attention, because I've also been with Qigong way more connected to my intuition and just
Mm.
following those kind of pings of like, oh my god, okay, I need to do this. I feel it in my soul. I really just need to go read this book. And it always aligns perfectly with what I'm like going through at the moment. But the three books that really, really helped me, or the teachers too, were Ram Dass, who's like my favorite spiritual teacher ever. He talks about, I just love how he like simplifies it. And I think wellness and well-being, with everything said and done, it is very simple that yeah, as you said, we are our own healers. We are meant to be healthy, like, and things happen with the world in our mind that, makes us, obviously causes illness and disease, and that happens very easily, but we are our own healers, and naturally our bodies want to be in a state of health. So I think that's like coming back to the root. It's Ram Dass talks about being in your heart space. So like feeling love in your heart, that love is always within you, and seeing how everything is just honestly stemming from that one like baseline of love. And then Eckhart Tolle, I'm sure you know, but
Yes.
he discusses presence. So that again is like
Being
mind,
present.
body. So
Yeah.
present in the mind, open in the heart. And then the last book that absolutely changed everything for me, and this also set like three of my friends on their spiritual awakenings, is called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Do you
Oh,
know that?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a great book, and
Yeah.
he has a new book now too, a newer book.
Yeah. I have so many that I want to read that I need to get to it, because there's so many good ones. But yeah,
I
those
love it.
like so many too, like Osho and
Do you
the
follow
four.
Gabby Bernstein? Do you know Gabby Bernstein?
She's like one of my favorites. I
Oh
love
my
Gabby.
God. Don't you love
Yeah.
her? Oh my God. She's so authentic
Ye
and so vulnerable and so powerful. And she has been a huge, oh my God. She's just made my life a lot, yeah, better.
Yeah.
She just, I love her. Yeah, I'm glad that you know her. I figured you probably did because she's
Yeah.
written a lot of books. So,
So I haven't read her books, but I've listened to her like entire podcast. And she was like one of the first people that, yeah, with meditation too, I would like
mhm.
really hear about the meditation and her story too. I think her, drug story was definitely more intense than what I experienced, but she does have a similar thing where it was like she was really not treating her body well, and then that catapulted her, yeah, her journey.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And now she had like a spiritual, like she heard a voice saying, get clean and you will live a life beyond your wildest dreams. And she
yeah,
is living that life. And what's wild is like her book, Happy Days, her newest book. What's wild is like, even though she had all the things and the great career and amazing business and husband and child, she still was having like some other thing where she was just like a workaholic, or she just had
mhm,
some other issue that showed up, and she just gets, and she's so honest. She's like, I'm in my therapy office every Wednesday at 5:30. She'll say this,
yeah,
and it's like, and I love that. And there was some other book I was listening to once where they're like, every person should have a therapist. Like, I
yeah.
mean, I've never had a therapist, but I mean, I'm not
Me,
saying that in a certain way, but I just mean I've everything I've done has been through reading, has been through coaches, has been through, all of, natural, holistic, everything. I'm all about it. So I want to hear how you feed your body, and nourish your body physically. Do you? Are you alcohol free currently?
Well, yeah, I agree with the authenticity. I love it from Gabby so much. So I'll be completely authentic about
Yes,
my
please.
it's still a struggle for me, definitely figuring out how to nourish my body in the right way, because I will have months on end where like I'll be, like I'll be eating so healthy, I'll be really doing the thing. And I don't struggle with healthy eating. Like I genuinely enjoy, oatmeal bowls and smoothies and salads and grain bowls. Like I love healthy food in general.
Me
I
too.
think it's more like the balance of, just eating the correct amount, like really listening to my body when it's full, not over like stress eating. I definitely, when I did have my eating issue in college, I would either eat nothing or eat everything. There was no balance, it was like
Yeah,
no in. So
right.
it's been like a really big journey to find that balance. I think I found it now, but it's still kind of like, there'll be the little voices in your head, like you just being body shaming in the mirror and stuff. But I think as women too, like societally, we all go through that, which is
Oh my
so
gosh.
sad.
So sad.
Um,
So sad and
yeah,
so true.
yeah. And even if like it literally doesn't matter how you look, like even if you look like a Victoria's Secret model, they still are having some, it's really crazy, I think, like how society has put that on us as women. But I think, yeah, so in general, I do eat quite healthy though. The alcohol has been the bigger thing for me on the journey though, because drugs, I'm whatever, I'm done with those. They really just make my body feel horrible, and I just am not even interested anymore.
Uh-huh.
I have done like mushrooms and stuff, but that's more for like healing purposes. In terms of alcohol, it's a journey because it's like at my age, you want to go out, and I love to go out, and I'm very social. So it's like
Yes.
really finding the balance. But it's weird because the more I've gone into my journey, the more my body rejects alcohol. Like I literally will have one drink now and I'll feel like horrible for 3 days. I don't know if that's just because like it just doesn't want it anymore, but I really can
It's
feel like the lower
toxic.
vibration.
I mean, I'm not, yeah, it's lower
Yeah.
vibe. It's toxic to the body. So
Yeah.
I'm currently like a year and a half. I mean, I'm not like judging anyone who drinks alcohol. It's legal and people, definitely use it for joy and celebration, but they also use it to numb pain. And it's very common. I was listening to a podcast where this singer she would go into bars with her dad when she was a kid, and she said everybody looked like they were numbing their pain. Everybody was in pain. But anyway, it's just, to me, it's just, for me, I'm in my 50s. I'm about to be 55 years old in April, and I'm like, it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my body. And I want to look good and feel good. And what, you feel good for an hour. So it is a social thing for sure. I'll just do soda. I'll do sparkling water with lemon, or and it's just, I stay away from bars really too. I mean, on occasion, I just don't, it doesn't do anything for me, but I understand. I think maybe red wine is supposed to be healthy, and maybe on a Friday, like the Jews, they'll have like Friday. It's literally a mitzvah in the Jewish faith to have wine on Friday night,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
in Christian, like wine is
Yeah.
related to like Christ and everything. I think for me now, I mean, also congratulations. That's
Oh, thank
amazing.
you. Oh,
Year and
thank
a
you.
half. Um, I went to Bali last year for, oh my God, it was only 6 weeks. So I say it like it was forever, but it felt like a long time. And I went sober for 6 weeks, and I literally kid you not, after those 6 weeks, I looked so good. I felt so good, but then I came back and it was summer, and it's always like, oh, well, maybe I'll have one. But
Yeah.
that I think,
Yeah. It's
I think I'll
common. You're young.
end
Yeah.
up, yeah, I will end up probably going fully, because I think that with my personality, it's like if I just say, oh, only one, then it'll end up being like three, and then
Yeah.
it'll be
I love that
so
you're
I
authentic and honest and sharing that with us, because you are super healthy and you're doing all these beautiful things. And it just makes you wonder, like, if you didn't drink, like, how much higher vibration you would be, and, like what could come from it. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a lifestyle for sure. I mean, people just, it's so normalized. It's just, I mean, I have a date today at 4 o'clock. He's like, "Oh, we could have a glass of wine and an appetizer." And I just didn't say anything. He knows I don't drink, but he probably forgot
Yeah.
or something. But I'll just have my sparkling. I'm going to have my sparkling.
Make a difference. Like it really doesn't, because I think we hype it up too in our minds, like, oh no, people are going to notice that I'm not having a drink, but they're drinking. They don't notice. Like it just, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
But
never. Yeah. Oh,
it's
I'm
crazy.
sorry. I was just going to say I was in Miami in December of 21, and I was at an event and I'm in a hotel and nobody's driving, and I was going to have a drink just because, I'm not an alcoholic. I just choose not to. And then God planted this woman next to me and she's like, "Oh, I don't drink. It's been 20 years." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not drinking either." Like
Well,
literally, I was going to
yeah.
drink, and then God placed this person next to me who's like doesn't drink and hasn't drank in 20 years. So it was like, why did that happen to help me not drink? So it was
I
awesome.
mean, you might be my son, because the other day I was having these exact thoughts and I was like, I literally was kind of like, universe, send me a sign. So maybe this is my sign that I shouldn't drink.
Oh, it
In
is,
real
Emily.
time.
But you know what? One day at a time. You don't have to like say, "I'm never drinking again." You just go today,
Yeah.
and then tomorrow happens, and then you're like, "Yeah." So tell us,
Yeah.
okay. So, London, and where were you before? New York? You grew up in New York?
No, so I was born in Boston. I grew up in Boston, went to high school there, and then went to University of Maryland. And then uh yeah, and then came to London. I never, like, I have majority of my friends live in New York now, and then my mom, now obviously you met her, so
Yeah.
she lives in Florida, but my dad's still in Boston. And yeah, it's like London is my home now because some of my family's over here too. So I just love it here. I feel very connected to it. Not the weather, but
Yeah.
everything else.
That's incredible. I love it. I love that you just went for it and just moved there. So you have family there, your mother's family?
Yes, yes. I'm not in touch with all of them, but I'm in touch with some of them. And they're like, especially my aunt has been extremely, and my aunt and my uncle, one of my dad's brothers, I mean, my mom's brothers, has been extremely helpful just as a support in general. Like they were the ones who were like, you could get a dual citizenship and move to London. And I was like, oh, right, I can do that. And then my aunt helped me with the Qigong, and she's kind of like my spirit guide in a way. Like she's really helped me with a lot of my journey so far. So
I
yeah.
believe it. I believe it. So is there okay, so what else? I asked you about the books, and then I also asked, what advice would you give the young girl today, the teenager, the 17, 18-year-old that doesn't know what she wants, or just living in this world of social media and comparisonitis and all the things? Like, what would you tell your younger self or that teenage girl today to support, to give her some wise advice?
Well, I think that's a great question. First and foremost, I would say don't try to look for your calling. It will come to you. Don't try to look for your passion or your purpose. You will figure it out. I think we're led there. I don't think you have to do much work to figure it out. I think it will come to each and every one of us if you kind of just let go and ask and trust that you're going to find it. I think with the comparisonitis, which is definitely I still experience with social media. It's so toxic. But I think it was the 17-year-old probably wouldn't listen to me when I say this, but I would say limit your screen time. And the second would be to just know that like the best and biggest power you have in life is your authenticity. So comparison is, what is the quote? Comparison is the biggest thief of joy. It just doesn't serve you in any way. And it is more beautiful to be your authentic self than it is to try and copy or look like somebody else on the internet. It's not going to serve your soul whatsoever if you try to copy. So just don't, again, easier said than done. And
I
yeah, I
love
think
it.
just like trust, enjoy life. Definitely at that age, just enjoy
Oh my
life and
gosh.
trust it's going to work out. And like, if you're entering your 20s, go with the ups and downs, but like, just keep
Yeah.
coming back to your, and
That's
whatever brings you joy, keep doing that, I think.
such good advice. Oh my God, Emily, such good advice. I mean, really, be your authentic self. Don't compare yourself to others. It's your own journey, and you will find your passion. It will find you. I mean, it will find you. But
Mhm.
for sure, being your authentic self is just so attractive and so like I'm living it. I'm doing it. I'm showing up on this empowered podcast, doing my purpose work, sharing my authentic everything, all of it.
Yeah.
And like it just yeah, I love it. And so that's excellent advice. And is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience? And then we'll put all your links in the show notes, how they can find you. And yeah, anything else you want to
Sure.
share, talk about?
I think just this has just been on my mind lately, so I feel like I'll just share
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
But I that like the what when it all comes down to it, the most important thing is health, because I think we like dim down, or we kind of say, oh, health, it's just like something boring or something where you have to like work out every day and eat this specific meal. And but it's like health is your like everything, like it's your state of being, and that is the foundation for your entire life.
Health
So
is
what I've
wealth,
learned,
100%.
health
I'm
is
sorry to
wealth. And
interrupt. It is. Health is wealth. And I'm going to tell you, I met two people recently that came across. So that just, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad that you brought that up because earlier when you were talking, I also wanted to say it is the most important thing, actually, period.
yeah,
Because if you have all the money in the world and you're laying in hospital bed, it doesn't serve. I mean, or you're
right.
like in a wheelchair or you're sick but yeah, go ahead. So yeah, health is wealth. And I just met someone and she was from the Ukraine and she's in her 80s and had blindness and she said she kept telling me to take care of myself, take care of myself. I told her my son doesn't drink alcohol. He's the one who inspires me. And she's like, you have a smart son. And he's sober too. Like he's part of the influence, but he says you're the one mom who you choose the action. So you're choosing to not drink. Yes, I introduce you this way of being and then you do it. And then someone else I met that I'll just be totally freaking authentic. And like, I do a little bit of Lyft driving because for extra money. And I picked up a guy from the hospital and he had surgery and he had colon cancer before. And he just was telling me more about health. And he didn't really care about I was trying to share about juicing and like natural. Oh, what does it matter? I'm going to die anyway. This kind of thought.
Mm,
But then the woman who was in her 80s and she was like telling me so much to take care of myself and it was coming through clear. This was both in one day. And then, our conversation now, it's true. Like you can be in a depressed whatever, but like freaking if you're healthy, be grateful. Like be grateful. Step into
yeah.
gratitude because like it's so like taken for granted, like being healthy. But yes, health is wealth. I'm sorry, I had to do my soapbox of health is wealth. But go ahead. I want to hear
No, don't
more.
worry. Don't worry. But yeah, I think health is wealth, and health, not like mental, spiritual, and physical health. It's also important. So, because when you get to the root cause of anything too, your mental health, your thoughts are creative. So if you have healthy mental, then your life will be better because we are creative beings. Our thoughts do literally create our lives. Our emotions also play a role in the outcome of our lives. So emotional health is so important, and physical health. So it's like if you baseline focus on those three things, again, to simplify it, because there's so many things you do, but if you really just root it and say, okay, health in mind, health in body, health in spirit, then everything else stems from there, you know? And
Oh,
that's what
mm,
that past few days, I'm like, okay, Emily, get it together. Like, you know what the answer is. Even with the drinking thing too, you've inspired me, honestly, because I know what the answer is. I know what my purpose is. And like you, it's, I guess, we learn and then we serve, right? So I know that's my purpose, and I know that I need to drop the things that are not serving my health. It's yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, and yeah, yeah,
yeah.
what yeah, you mentioned in Bali that you were the healthiest and felt amazing, and I assume tell me a little further on the Bali trip, like you were
Yeah. I mean, I was going through, or I mean, I went through a breakup right after, so that wasn't great. So that kind of threw me into another, you know, another
yeah.
little journey. But before that, I was, yeah, in Bali practicing yoga every single day. I was getting my teacher training there. So practicing every day, eating so healthy because it is so cheap there. Like you can get an amazing meal for £2, or I guess $2. I don't know what dollar pound, I forget what the dollar pound conversion is, but you can literally get like amazing, healthy, delicious food for so cheap. I need to go back. I don't even know
I
why.
wanna go. I
I
wanna go so bad. I know someone,
yeah.
a fabulous coach. She's beautiful soul, Freya Savage. She's on my show in the one of the first interviews. So, and the sound wasn't super great, but she's a finance expert and she's just a fabulous soul and beautiful. And she used to be vegan for more, and now she kind of changed because she said our bodies need some animal products and whatever. But I mean, I was vegetarian for 3 years and now I'm pescatarian or flexitarian or something. But anyway, but yeah, she was in Thailand and in Bali and just, I love her. So I do want to go there someday. I just love that. I think,
Yeah.
yeah. What were you going to say?
Yeah. No, just it's an amazing place, and the energy there. Apparently, I don't know what it is called exactly, but apparently the line of like where Bali is placed on earth is like really spiritually heightened. Like the energy there apparently is like very
Mm.
amplified. That's what people
Wow.
say. So I definitely felt like, yeah, I healed a lot there just by being there, and like the
Mm.
people so friendly. I was alone. I literally made one friend the whole time. Like I was doing it just a solo trip. I didn't drink, I didn't go out, I didn't do any of that. And yeah, I just
You
it
had
was
like a
amazing.
healing trip. It was like a beautiful, like, I love it. It sounds amazing to me. Like I've traveled by myself. I like it. I've learned to like love my own company. I'd rather be with myself and my dog or with myself than a toxic person, like, or a negative person.
Think too, it's funny how it happened because I healed and then I came back and then my breakup happened, and I feel like that again is just me trusting the universe so much, where it's like I think sometimes people need to be removed from your life in order for you to stay healed, if that makes sense. Like I think that
Mhm.
sometimes relationships, I think friendships or family or anything, like you have to be in alignment a lot, and like that's why letting go is so important. Like it took me 8 months to let go of this person after the breakup, like, and I'm finally like, oh my god, I'm just going to let go, and I feel like I've totally let go now. And it's so hard, but I think that's why it's so important, just cuz you have to trust that if somebody leaves your life, it was kind of for a reason, maybe. Yeah, not all the
100%.
time, but a lot of the
Usually.
time.
I think there's something else that's like if someone's meant to be with you, it will happen. And also like, it shouldn't be so hard. I think it has the right person, it's gonna be a lot easy it's gonna be easier. And sometimes if you listen, like, to the Gabby show and just real life stuff, it's like one person grows and the other one doesn't, and that's the challenge, and that's why they're no longer aligned. And then, if the other person doesn't want to grow and elevate their vibration or their, frequency to the other person, then,
Yeah,
perhaps they're meant for somebody else. And it's highest good for all because, it doesn't serve either person, right? And I just met
exactly.
yeah, I met someone the other day and she was going through a breakup and I was like, "This sounds like," I said, "I promise you that this is truly the best for you and it's going to create something new." Like when one door closes, a new one opens, a window opens. It's like I just know this from my 50 plus years of experience. Like I promise you, it's like it's hard because we're all codependent for some reason. But it's like one day at a time, literally. Like when you're breaking up with it's like just do it like it's a drug or alcohol, like one day at a time, It doesn't have to be, "Oh my God, we're done forever." It's like just get through one day at a time,
Yeah,
and then because, there's someone better usually for you or God has a plan and that's how I believe. And yeah. So, are you single currently, Emily?
I am single. I am
Okay.
single.
Okay. Awesome. And you said 26 going on 27?
6, yes, going on 27.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's so beautiful because when you start the healing journey too, or start the health journey, then as you said, it's like the universe wants you to learn more and more about it. So then the doors keep opening literally because it's like, okay, here, learn about this. Oh, wait, and now learn about this. And now here we go. Now you can have access to this. It's like really cool, just like a never ending like learning process
Yeah,
about.
evolving. You're evolving. And it's like I look back, I always tell this story like, oh my gosh, if 2 years ago someone was like, "You're gonna be living in Florida, you're gonna be have a podcast, you're gonna, have a coaching business, you're gonna have a different dog, a little black dog." I'm gonna be like, "What? Oh my God." If someone said that 2 or 3 years ago, I'd be like, "I'd have a podcast." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I do. It's like incredible. I'm just so
So
blessed
cool.
and grateful. So this was a really fabulous conversation. I love talking to you. I'm so glad I connected with your mom and met you through her. And we're going to put your links in the show notes. And then you're on Instagram at Energy with Emily.
Yeah, Energy with Emily, and there's a little underscore at the thing because somebody else has that name too. So
Okay. And then
find me
your
up and
website. Yep.
energywithemily.com. It's all Energy with Emily.
Yeah.
That's
It's
yeah.
an incredible website. I love it. So much there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, hopefully it's
you.
running, but yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast. So nice
Oh,
to
my
talk.
pleasure. Thank you so much for being here, and we will stay connected for sure, and perhaps we'll do some lives or something together. That would be
Yeah,
super fun.
yeah.
Have a wonderful day.